Good right there. So, yeah, man, tell us about Wadapalooza.
So I didn't go this year. I went last year. Jeff Goebel and I went down and competed in the adaptive division. And it's crazy. It's a huge party the whole time. You're in Miami working out with literally the fittest people on earth. But it's just it's in February, early. It's in the winter here.
Yeah.
And you're there and it's warm and you're you're right on the bay. And I mean, it was just awesome.
That's sick.
So competed last year. I was injured, didn't get to go this year, but I'll go back next year, hopefully.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Yeah. So, like, as far as the workout goes, compared to what you do, like your normal training, like I'm sure it was obviously a step up a little bit, and competitiveness kind of took over some too.
Big time. And you're competing in the same arenas as the big athletes at different times, but it's at night under the lights, and you're on the stage floor.
Yeah.
And there's people in the stands. It's just totally different situation.
Oh, geez, man.
And I always train early morning, 6 a.m., 5 to 6 days a week. And there was one workout. We were in the stadium, and I mean, it's like 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
And that was the last workout of the day. And you're going in, and it's like you're in a coliseum. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And Jeff was my coach, and he's there with me. And he was so pumped up going in there, and he kept hitting me on the back, and he was so juiced and so excited. I mean, I was like, calm down. It's all right.
Yeah.
And we get in there, and we're doing the workout, and it was like a clean and press. And he is yelling at me so hard in my ear because he is just so jazzed the whole time. I literally had to stop, turn around, and was like, take a step back. Just calm down a second. I can't even focus. You're screaming so hard in my ear. It was awesome.
What was the workout, or one of the workouts? I'm sure there were multiple.
There was a bunch. There was at least 5 different ones. So there was one workout. You had to do pull-ups on the rings from the ground. And we had pre-gamed the whole thing. Like we had it planned out, Jeff and I. Buzzer goes off. I would grab the rings, pull myself up. He'd pull my chair out, lower to the ground, do my pull-ups. The last one, hold myself up, put my chair under. And it's at night again, and he's videoing as we go in. The buzzer goes off, and he is just screaming, and I'm like, come on, let's go. And he forgets and throws his phone down. It was just, it's hilarious.
God, dude. I bet that's so crazy. Because, I mean, like, were you an athlete growing up?
Oh, yeah. So I played basketball and then middle school, high school sports.
Okay. Well, and that's what I think is interesting. Like, I'm not a CrossFitter by any means. Like, I don't do cardio. If I'm doing cardio, I'm running, and something's after me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not running. So, like, I actually did the open, Friday here at TrvFit. And that was something I was telling Zach, like, just the competitive nature, like the clock, starting to tick down. I'm like, it's game time. Like, I've not felt that in a little bit, of like actually wanting to compete. So it's cool.
I'm kind of surprised that you don't do more CrossFit, because 2 weeks ago I was watching you do a workout.
Yeah. And
you're so light on your feet. You were doing box jump overs, and you're so light on your feet. I mean, it looked like you've been doing this forever. I was like, this is, I literally videoed it. This is textbook how to do this workout. I mean, it was phenomenal.
Well, and that's something I think I'm going to start. That's what I was telling Zach. Like, I'm so competitive. Like, I was telling my wife, like, once I heard like Dylan's time and like some other, girls and stuff, that their time here, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to beat that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just so cool to have something competitive at 30 years old,
I wish we had another seated athlete that worked out a lot in here. He would push me a little more. And I've invited a few. I've met a few in the area, but it would just push me a little more to work out harder and have that little bit of competitiveness.
Yeah. Well, and that's something too that, if you want to touch on, just kind of like where you started, all that kind of stuff, who you are. We'll go ahead and open up the intro. 10 minutes in, 5 minutes in?
Yeah, sorry. So
no, you're good.
My name is Jeff Short. I am the owner of TrvFit here in Johnson City. We're a franchise. We're the first one in the South. Mostly based out of Michigan. So a little about me. I've lifted weights for years, and then I was in an accident back in 2018 and paralyzed me, T1 injury, so pretty high, and it paralyzed me and put me in a chair. Accident in August. I was in the hospital for pretty much 3 months, hospital rehab in Atlanta, and then when I got back home, it was like, hey, got to get back to the gym. Started working out in small gyms. There was a couple community, like 24-hour gyms. And it just didn't really give me what I felt like I really wanted. I worked out with a couple personal trainers, and they were fantastic, but we were always modifying the equipment or the space. It's tough to get in and out.
For sure.
You can't really use a lot of machines. So I had the chance I knew the owner of TrvFit. We're really close friends. I mean, we talk every week. He's in Michigan, and I had met him. I'd kind of seen a couple of his gyms, and had the chance to open my own. So we just went for it. More of selfishly a place for me to work out myself. But
yeah,
I know what fitness has done for me, especially after, it kept me alive through the accident, being so fit. But then after the accident, how much it's helped me kind of get back to daily life. I was like, I want this, as cliche as it sounds, for other people. I mean, it really changed my life. So I was like, hey, let's try to do good for others more than just Planet Fitness has its space in the gym arena, I guess you would say, but sure. I wanted something more that kind of held accountability, people to get in, work out. And I've seen it. I mean, in the past 2 years, really changed some people's lives. So it's neat.
Yeah. Well,
it's
and fun. As far as like that franchise, like having, somebody that pre-existingly owned, the gym, that you're kind of getting one here, like, did you have any autonomy on like how you wanted to run the space?
100%.
That's awesome.
It's a really neat franchise because the HQ, we call it headquarters, is there for if you want it for programming, workouts, like marketing, social media, anything you want them, they're there to help. But if you want to run it fully on your own, you can do it. So
awesome.
They're there as much as you want or as little as you want. So it's pretty neat.
I mean, it seems like a solid business model for wanting to open up more spaces is give those owners like that autonomy to kind of make it what you want.
Yeah. So it's been awesome. Now they have like their core culture as far as like, so we're a group fitness based model. So they have those core classes that everybody has to run, but how you truly run those, it's kind of up to you.
Okay.
They focus more on, or they want the owners to focus more on like client experience and the, people they're experiencing, like getting them in the gym and truly changing lives. We're not CrossFit by any means. We don't do anything Olympic, barbell overhead. We are more of a group-based model for the masses instead of for the athletes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, and you kind of talk about like what type of classes do y'all offer?
So we have a full body workout called TrueX. And then we rotate programming weekly for that, upper body, lower body, full body. We have grit, heavier lifting class. We have some cardio-based classes. And then we have Riot, which are most popular, which is a boxing and cardio-based like bodyweight movement class. Okay. And those are super popular.
Did the name of those classes come from you guys, or is that something from TrvFit?
All from HQ, TrvFit.
Okay, cool.
And they've been open for 10 years. So we're relatively new in the big picture for them. And we branched out and came to the South. So they're really now starting to branch out other places. They're going to start growing pretty good this year.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a pretty big jump from Michigan down to Tennessee. So that's cool for them that they're, kind of spreading that.
They had map. 20-some locations up in that area.
Okay.
And then now they're starting to spread out.
So they're very well established up there. Okay.
Yeah, up there it's huge.
Yeah, so. Well, and that's kind of like whenever I did my clinical internships, I went to Arizona and Scottsdale. Yep. And shout out to Spooner Physical Therapy. That's where I was at. And they had 27, I think, clinics there. And they just acquired one in Texas. Yeah. So it's one of those things where like, I get that idea where you kind of got to be like I don't know what to say. I guess like a expert in your, small town first and then branch out. So like, is that something y'all are wanting to do now that you're here, is branch out into other spots?
Possibly. So we've looked at opening a few other. So let me back up. We are classes and an open gym model. Yeah. So we're a hybrid model. We have both, and we're the first one to really do that.
Oh, cool.
So it was kind of a experiment with HQ to open this model to have both options. So we've looked at branching out and doing a class only model in other areas in Bristol, different places. But right now, getting COVID's kind of done. We're on a big up ramp and growing pretty well. So we're going to see where this goes and kind of move from there.
Okay.
When did you guys open up in Boones Creek?
In 2020. So we signed our lease, signed the franchise agreement, and then COVID hit like the next month.
Wow.
That's when it got big. So we were kind of stuck. So we were like, we're going to make the best out of it. And we did okay. Made it through all that, slow and steady. And now that it's hopefully all fully behind us, we're going to start hitting the huge upslope.
Okay. Good deal.
So,
That's awesome. So as far as like running a gym, what does your day look like?
so I have a full-time job outside of this as well. So I'm pulled
Because
in
you work as hard as anybody I've seen.
I pulled in 100 directions. So I have a general manager that helps me run it. My wife helps me run a ton of it. She has a full-time job as well. And then we have a head coach that helps me run it as well. So we have kind of the staff in place. It's taken a while to get here, get the people we want in the right spots, but we're there now. So we have a staff that runs it. But in saying that, I come in every morning and work out at 6, make sure everything looks okay. We have a call every Tuesday and then a call every Wednesday just to kind of report numbers. But we're here so much. We're working out so much. We have a good thumb on the overall picture to not have to be here full time. So it's nice. I will say, though, when you come in here and you work out and you look around and it's dirty, and you guys know how it is in the gym, there's stuff everywhere.
Oh, yeah. It's
super hard to prioritize my workout instead of, I need to clean or vacuum for the next hour.
Yeah.
And being in a chair makes it tough. But there's times I'll come in here and just vacuum for a solid hour. And at the end, I'm like, I'm done. It's a workout.
Yeah.
Because it's such a stretch and move. And so, I mean, there's times that'll be my workout for the day.
Yeah. So biggest pet peeve you have as a gym owner? And you can call people out if you want to, because then it won't happen again.
Most gym owners say leaving weights out.
Yeah.
For me, and it's not something anybody does, it's just how dirty the floor gets.
Yeah.
We try to keep the gym looking very aesthetically nice. But how dirty it gets. I can come in here and work for an hour, mop, vac, and that evening there's chalk everywhere.
Oh yeah.
We have the doors open. There's leaves in. I mean, it's just like, what I do all that for?
Yeah.
That's my biggest pet peeve. So it's nothing somebody does necessarily.
Yeah.
Just a daily function of the gym.
So I'm just trying to stir stuff up.
Well, my wife would say it's the weights and leaving stuff out, because she comes in and that would be hers.
I got you. Okay. Well, and as a parent now, I can kind of get that, like toys everywhere. I'm just like, man.
Yeah. We have 3 kids, so we can relate completely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good deal.
So prior to the accident, what did your workouts kind of look like?
Big weightlifting, not a lot of cardio. They call them bro workouts a lot. So it was mainly that. Come in, maybe do 2 minutes on a skier or something. And then it was just one body part a day, 5 or 6 days a week.
Arm days,
chest, back.
Yeah.
Not a lot of legs.
Yeah.
So I always joked. I had the 1,000-pound max or 1,000-pound rep with a bench press, deadlift, and a 200-pound squat.
Yeah.
It was funny. Like, I didn't squat. I hated it.
Well, that's most people. Yeah. Well, and like as rehab professionals, like that's kind of what we see. Like a lot of injuries is like overworked shoulders, underworked legs and
100%.
hips, low back. So yeah. But I think your all's classes though, I think that kind of complements, not getting off topic real quick, but like I think from what I've seen, because I've taken a few classes, very well rounded, as far as how the workouts are structured. So
the idea is a lot of people don't know what to do when they come to a gym.
Mm-hmm.
So they come in, they'll get on the treadmill. The majority, like the average person, treadmill, or whatever their cardio based workout is. So the idea is if you just show up as a class member, you're going to have a workout. If you hit 3 a week, you're going to hit every body part that week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the overall idea of TrvFit. Accountability, show up, come to class, you'll get your workout.
Mm-hmm.
It's programmed for you. A coach is there to help you with modifications, help you with form.
Yeah.
And then 45, 50 minutes later, you go home and you've got a great workout.
Like it.
I think that's huge. I think that deters a lot of people from not going to the gym. They just get overwhelmed. They don't know where to go. So for you guys to have the option, the class is set up, show up, workout, you're good to go. I think that's a great model.
Well, and to me, like it takes out a lot of the guesswork of like I said, one, being intimidated, like coming into a new gym. And like I said, y'all have super nice space, but still you've got the rigs in the middle and everybody's like, man, what all is this, all about? You got different machines. So that's kind of something that we always touch on with our new clients is, that we're very strength based, obviously, hence the name, you know what I mean? So we try to, educate as much as we can, like you were talking about with the coaches, but not get so in the weeds to where like, that's what it's about. Because at the end of the day, we want people to get the results, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I think that education piece is huge.
Yeah. I mean, we see it even still today. So many people come in, they get very intimidated and they'll do a class. And if I focus on the experience, because if the coach is working out with class, we had that happen a few times, or if the coach is not paying attention to new people, they get overwhelmed and they're one class and done, because they're intimidated, they don't fit in, they don't feel like it's for them, and they'll be out. So, I mean, that happens every time. And for our avatar client, we really got to focus on that first class, first week experience to show them, if you keep coming back, you'll get the results. Make it through that first 1 or 2 classes. You're going to get involved in the community. You're going to get involved in the workouts. You're going to start seeing like, okay, that wasn't as bad as the first class. And then before you know it, you're sucked in.
And building habits. I like it. So kind of going back to what Zach was saying, like, as far as your training, like after the accident, what were the big things that you noticed like that had to change?
Oh man. So it was a whole new world coming back to the gym. So I wrecked in August. I was gone until November, back home in November. And then I had a great close friend that I worked out with before the accident that pushed me to come back to the gym with him. His name's Dave. And he got me back in the gym in December. So I was back super light, December, January. It was at the point where my wife, I was still 6 a.m. My ex-wife now, wife at the time, would wake up, help me get in the car, break my chair down. I would drive to the gym. Dave would get my chair out, put it together. I'd work out. He put it back in the car for me. This is before I could really do it all myself. And it was a lot of the same stuff, upper body, but everything was modified. Obviously, it had to be. But it was just the whole idea of moving again and getting back into my element, I guess, was huge. I tell anybody that's been in an accident, I talk to a lot of people, especially newly injured people in the area. Somehow they get my name or number, and I tell them, as soon as you can, get moving again, get active. It's going to be huge to help you.
Well, I'm sure that's just as much mental as it is anything else. Well, and I think, that's cool that you run a gym, you know what I mean? Because like if you, maybe to start developing a community, that you kind of make a, adaptive athlete class, I
would love it. I tell people all the time, and it's hard because there's not a whole lot of people in chairs. There's 5 or 6 in the area that I even know of, but anybody in a chair that wants to come, I don't even charge them. It's free. Just come work out. Because most people in a chair can't afford an expensive gym membership. So we do it free for anybody in a chair. But just coming in and working with the equipment we have, the rowers, the ski ergs, the different things we have available, it's just crazy how much it helps their everyday life.
Yeah, for sure. So like what did your rehab look like early on?
So I went to Shepherd in Atlanta. So I was in Shepherd for 9 weeks. But I was so injured and so hurt. It was hard to get a lot of rehab. It was more, they were teaching me more how to live in a chair than how to move in a chair, if that makes sense. Like a lot of getting out of bed. Here's your everyday life, cathing and things like that. Use the restroom, showering. It was so much more in what they call ADLs than it was, hey, here's how to go out in the world and still be a productive citizen, I guess. As weird as that sounds, because a lot of people, they're just at home when they're in a chair. That's all they do. So that's kind of more where Shepherd was based, where I'm like, and they tried a little bit, but I was so weak from the injury and the accident. It was hard to do a lot of like physical activity.
Higher level stuff.
So when I got home, kind of got comfortable, I was back in the gym as soon as possible.
That's awesome.
After the accident, what was the hardest thing for you to realize that maybe this will never be the same? This is different. How did you approach that?
The biggest thing was I guess not having a positive attitude and not giving up. I'd talked to so many people. I had a good mentor where I was in Shepherd. Jeremy's his name. We're still friends. We still talk. So I'm in my day job. I was in sales before, a very technical engineering side of sales, and I'm still doing the same thing today. He was the same way. So he was in a chair, came and saw me in Shepherd, kind of like a mentor, but he still worked full time, even out of chair. So getting back home, really realizing that you don't have to sit at home all day. You can get out, you can work, you can live a normal life. It's just more work every day to do it, a little harder, but not letting it stop me, I guess, was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
My ex-wife pushed me a ton. When I came home, we're still good friends today. But she wouldn't let me stop. Like, they tried to send me home with a power chair, and she refused it. She's like, when he comes home, he is in a manual only. He has to figure out how to live.
Yeah, that's solid.
I was in a power chair and Shepherd the whole time. It was awesome.
Oh yeah,
I didn't have to work at all. Just zooming around. Yeah. So that last week, they're like, "All right, you ready to go home? Here's your manual chair." And I'm like, "What is this? This sucks."
Yeah,
it sucked bad.
Hard work. Yeah,
but it was crazy the difference it made. Just little things like that. So it's funny to look back on now. But, just realizing you can live a normal life even in a chair.
Well, and you get back to working out too. I know, like, Zach and I are still, both full time at skilled nursing facilities. Yeah. So we have, several people that are in chairs, and that's something like whenever they come in to see us, they're thinking kind of what you're talking about, like the ADLs, like I'm going to work on bed mobility or, whatever, sitting balance. Well, once they reach that kind of like, we're not really doing much, you've already reached a certain level. Like, we start doing chair sprints. Like, I actually found a sled, like a snow sled somebody had at the house, and like put every ankle weight, because we don't have dumbbells or anything. Right. We have dumbbells of like 5 pounds. But I found every ankle weight. We have like 10-pound med ball and loaded that sled up. We did forward sled drags, backwards, and they were like, I am smoked. I've not done anything like this in a while.
It's huge.
I
did rehab here with Ballard for a long time, for a whole year after. We really focused a lot on like hips, and for a long time I had it in my head I was going to walk still, even though I'm a T1 complete. That was always my goal. We focused a ton on that. And I guess back to kind of the previous question, finally realizing, hey, I probably won't ever get function back unless they have some kind of crazy medical advancement, and figuring out how to make it the best in a chair. Yeah. Getting stronger to live in a chair every day instead of trying to focus on AFOs and different things to try to walk. I still stand every day in a standing frame now.
Oh, nice.
Just for bone longevity. Yeah. But kind of understanding, all right, so it took me probably a good year to finally come to grips and say, all right, these aren't ever going to work. Let's make the best out of where I'm going to be. Yeah. So
I'm sure that was a hard thing to work through.
It was, but it comes, kind of is what it is. Like, I'm big on the power of positivity and really having the correct mindset. Yeah. So, you just make the best out of what you have.
Well, you got to, right?
Yeah.
What's the other option?
Yeah. The other option, sit at home and kind of do nothing.
Yep.
And a lot of people, it's sad to say, a lot of people in chairs do that.
Oh yeah.
When I was in Shepherd, they come in one day and they were like, here's paperwork to fill out. I'm like, what's this? In that point in time, I'm still getting lifted out of a bed with the
Hoyer.
Yeah, the Hoyer every day. So it was still rough. And they were like, this is your disability paperwork. I'm like, why would I sign that? They were like, well, when you go home, you'll apply for disability. I'm like, BS. Like, I'm working. I'm working right now from my phone in Shepherd.
Yeah.
And I was like, get out. Like, absolutely not.
I respect
I'm
that.
not going to be disabled when I get home. Like, I'm going to work full time. It was at the point where my current job had to turn off my phone and email. That way I wouldn't work when I was in Atlanta.
Jeez, man.
Just because I had to do something. You're just laying there all day with nothing to do, watching TV.
Yeah.
It sucked.
And then you decided to open up a gym.
Yeah. And then I go back to full time, and then in the meantime, open up a gym at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Questionable looking back, but it's turned out fantastic.
Well, and I think that's the thing with any type of, injury. Obviously, yours is a little bit more severe, than traditional injuries that we see. But like the thing is adapt and overcome, right?
Yeah.
And just get through it. Head down, keep grinding.
And you got to just understand, it's called an accident. Most injuries are accidents, not even car, but you fall, you break something. Right. You didn't mean to fall. It's an accident. You might have done it to yourself. I did this to myself. I caused the accident. So you kind of come to grips with that, but you got to accept it. It was an accident for a reason. Move past whatever happened. Yeah. Like, how do I fix it or get better in what I'm doing every day? Most people have trouble with that, I feel like, and I think it's huge. Like, when you accept it, like, all right, it happened, it sucked, but it's not going to do me any good to dwell on it.
Yep.
Let's figure out how to make the situation better.
Yeah.
So,
have the end goal in mind and see what you can get.
CrossFit, like, I don't love CrossFit for most people just because I feel like it takes an athlete to really do CrossFit effectively. And CrossFit has its place, and people love CrossFit because a lot of people, because of the competitive side of it.
Yeah.
But I will say for me, it's pushed me doing a little bit of the adaptive side of CrossFit has helped me get a ton stronger and develop muscles I didn't think would come back and really helped. I mean, looking where I'm at, what I can do in the gym today compared to where I was, 3 or 4 years ago, it's just drastically different.
Well, I came in the other day and you were benching 185 for reps.
Yeah, I mean,
several reps.
It's just so different.
It's like, geez, man.
So just the cardio side of it. This is my legs. Everything is just arms and shoulders and back.
Yeah.
So just being able to go through the day-to-day stuff is just so different than it was then. Just building that stamina.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, like as far as like using your arms for most, tasks, have you noticed any like shoulder issues or anything like that?
Shoulders, no, but I try to work my shoulders a ton, I guess the right way. So my PT at the time, Erin, she was phenomenal. She really pushed me to focus on shoulder health. I've got a good friend in a chair locally, did CrossFit, won a few competitions several years ago, then hurt his shoulder. And hasn't done anything since because he's like, this is me for the rest of my life. He has kids that are young. So I've always tried to focus on a lot of rotator cuff, a lot of those minor muscles to keep them as healthy as I can. And I really focused on that and then hurt my elbow. So would that really help me?
Right. Well, and that's something that we always see in like the rehab world and like strength conditioning is you've heard of CrossFit shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you were talking about earlier and like those chronic, issues with just shoving a barbell over your head repeatedly for time.
Yeah.
Under fatigue.
And if you don't have the correct coaching, it can get super dangerous. I feel like just owning a gym. And there's a lot of great CrossFit gyms and coaches around, and they have the effective coaching. I feel like they help you fix that. I'll tell everybody we're not CrossFit, and we don't have anybody that is going to watch your form on a barbell because we have 15, 20 people in class. So instead of a barbell, we'll say dumbbells because it puts everything at such a neutral grip. We don't have to sit and watch one person's form and then the rest of the class suffer. That's where I'm going. Like in a CrossFit class, those coaches are trained to be able to correct that form in a class setting where we are more, let's fix the overall form with dumbbells or kettlebells instead of that barbell model.
Well, like setting them up for success. Because I mean, and that's the thing too, is like from like auto regulation and like load management standpoint, you only have dumbbells so heavy.
Yeah.
And then too, like how heavy, like, if you get like 100-pound dumbbells, like the rubber coated ones, good luck trying to do like deadlifts with them. You can't get them around your legs.
Bingo.
And like same thing with overhead, motion. So yeah, I think that's awesome. That and kettlebells, those are two tools that, definitely use for load management.
And then in everyday life, I feel like it relates more to what you're picking up anyways. You're picking up kids, you're picking up stuff off the ground, groceries, whatever it may be. It's much more in that dumbbell realm than a barbell.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, well, and that's something that we always preach on. Like, if anybody's ever listened to me talk, I love the barbell deadlift or deadlifts in general, but like the trap bar over there, like that neutral grip, like we're talking about. I mean, that's something that translates so much better to everyday life. Because once you get to a certain point, it's like, like you were talking about earlier, you're lifting up heavy things like power lifter type thing. Well, that's great to do that motion because the specificity of it. But like in the grand scheme of things, like if we get, Martha or John coming in that like the only activity they get is in this gym, why would we load up a heavy barbell, deadlift whenever that's putting so much anterior trunk load? And like, it's just a recipe of like getting them injured and having to like over cue. And like you said earlier, like there's just so much like load that goes to that low back that, why would we load that up whenever we could do dumbbells or any other movement?
Yeah. My goal is to have people put laundry detergent on the top shelf.
Yeah.
Easy instead of pick up a huge barbell. Like, those small daily ADLs for their standard person. That's where we're trying to make their life better. Picking up kids, playing in the yard, playing sports with your kids. Yeah. That's where we're trying to change people's lives instead of, a lot of people do competitive CrossFit. We're never going to be that realm. Yeah. Now we have some people that do it in here and they're pretty good at it. Yeah. One of our coaches, Jeff, he's a master's athlete having double knee surgery or double knee replacement tomorrow.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Double knee replacement at the same time. He's nuts.
What a savage.
But he did the first CrossFit workout and he can't do it because tomorrow he has surgery. So he didn't sign up. But he told me last night when he looked at his score, he was 5th in the world in that workout.
No big deal.
And I'm like, it's freaking insane.
And having surgery like the next week.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have athletes that do crazy stuff, but it's not our general model.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think that's any gym. You're going to have outliers, you know, top and below. But like, as far as like those ADLs, do you think that like your injury gives you a different lens to look at the average gym? You know what I mean? Like how the classes are structured. Like you're saying, like most gym owners or coaches wouldn't necessarily think of like putting laundry detergent over their head. They're more worried about the barbell, like the, 1 rep max or whatever time on a workout.
100%, especially for me, because where I don't have any or very, very little core function, everything is single-handed to get anything overhead.
For sure.
Like I can't hold myself up and pick up a barbell that's on a top rack.
Right.
So everything is super isolated with what would be a dumbbell or kettlebell. So, I mean, if you think about stuff I have to brace to get stuff up, off the ground, same way. And I feel like in today's society, that's a lot of the everyday person. They don't have maybe the same core strength that an athlete does. And that's your typical mom after pregnancy, things like that. And they're going to be very similar. That's why the dumbbell and kettlebell is so huge in the workouts, because that's what you're doing every day.
Yeah.
You're picking up this or that, or your single arm movements is more typical, I feel like, in a daily life of the average person.
Or mastering your body weight in different planes. Like that's something everything's sagittal, front and back, lunges, squats, deadlifts. We'd like to get people out of that rotation. Because if I had $1 for every time I heard somebody blew their back out while like bending over to pick up like anything, like a shaker cup.
Bingo.
You know what I mean?
And we hear that a lot, especially in talking to new members. Well, I have back injuries. I have a bad back. And I tell them, if your core is stronger, maybe your back won't hurt as much, because it's the same. And you all can probably educate me here, but it's the same set of muscles that are all going to be in that trunk stability.
Yeah.
That's going to affect that back pain and help that area of injury.
Yeah.
What you think is injured because you have pain. But, if everything is stronger, your whole daily life is going to get better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and like, strength, you can never go wrong being stronger. God, that sounds so corny, but like,
I mean, it's true.
You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. So like, that's why, our name is what it is. Strength and rehab is like the strength is first, because like a lot of PTs, like I'm not going to get on soapbox, but vastly underloaded. You know what I mean? Like you go to any PT clinic, they probably don't have barbells. They definitely don't have a squat rack. And it's just one of those things where that's where we try to separate ourselves is, you're going to get a workout. Like evals, when people come in, like they, better make sure you're wearing workout clothes, because we're loading up a max, whatever the motion is. Like I had a guy come in, that's a buddy that I work with, OT Josh, and he was having some like shoulder pain with incline barbell bench. Yeah, I told him, I was like, man, probably don't need to do a barbell, because he does Spartan races. He was like, I want to do barbell. I'm like, all right, then we're going to work around it. On eval, he was doing like tempos on heavy, and like he was sweating. Yeah. I mean, so that's not getting off the side, tangent there, but like we try to make people work, and, even if you are injured, come see us. We'll definitely, give you a workout for sure.
Yeah, totally agree. Strength is huge in rehab. Just what I've seen. I mean, the stronger you are, the better everything gets.
For sure. Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I agree. Well, dudes, y'all got anything else?
I mean, I could talk for days about this. So especially the injury and how it's affecting me and other people. So, I mean, I'm an open book.
Yeah. Zach, you got anything else?
I will say, I think one thing that's interesting about your all's classes is how some of them you'll have more of a younger population, older. So I think it's really good for people feeling comfortable, not being intimidated. Yep. So if you got a 55-year-old mom, she comes in, she can have the option to work out in a class with people her own age, feel more comfortable and just keep coming back and stuff. So I think that's really, really good that you guys have a diversity of those classes.
We've tried to break it out because we want everybody to feel included. And it's really hard to do that, just like you said, because we'll have some people that are 20 years old in classes. They're a college student, and we want that person to feel just as accepted as the 60-year-old mom in here. So we have a fit over 50 option. So we have dedicated classes to that little bit of age group, aging with strength, because you guys probably know way better than me that the stronger you are as you get older, the better your life is, and the easier it's going to be. So we have that fit over 50 population. We have those dedicated classes. As well, those same people might do 2 or 3 classes a week in that fit over 50 population, but then Saturday morning I'll see them in here in a riot class with everybody. because they've gotten so comfortable that they know they can do it, number one, and they feel accepted in that same class. And there's 3 20-year-old females boxing next to Sally, who was in Fit Over 50 on Thursday night. So it's phenomenal to see how they've grown comfortable in the gym, gotten a little better, a little stronger, and then moved into a class model. That's the overall idea, right? You bring somebody in that's not comfortable, needs to build strength in that Fit Over 50 population, aging with strength. They do it for, let's say, 2 months. They're getting stronger. They feel better. And then the whole goal is for them to kind of progress out of your Fit Over 50 into a general class population, because they can do the same workout that, Mary, who's 25, is doing today. Different weights, and that's the point of the class. But they've grown out of what they needed when it comes to that a little bit slower tempo, and they can do everything now. And it's the same goes for our general class population. We're going to lose people that are progressing past what we offer. We lost a guy this week, and he said, last week, he said, I need a structured, more competitive CrossFit environment to lift in. He's like, I feel great. I'm ready to push it more. And I'm like, there's no hard feelings. You've progressed out of what we offer, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. You've handled all we can give you. We built you. He was come from an injury for a year. He built back up off injury with us. And then he's to the point, like, I'm going to go compete. Well, that's great. It's not us. I know of 2 phenomenal CrossFit gyms close. Go see one of them.
Yeah.
That is kind of as bad as it kind of sucks to lose a member, that's the best story we can tell, because look where he came from, where he's been, and there he goes.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I mean, that's starting from an injury, building yourself back up, and then finding something else to do.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
It's just like you were saying, it's nice to be able to offer, and HQ helps us with that, be able to offer tons of programs for the everyday person. If you look at our social media and you look at the people that we have in class, we hope that the outside person can see that, we are a diverse group of individuals, and anybody is welcome, all body types, because we really harp on, we meet you where you're at and help you go from there.
That's awesome.
So try to be a little bit different than some other places. We're trying to keep some accountability and people coming and wanting to be here and feeling good.
Having a good time too.
Yeah. And that's the idea. Have fun while you're doing it. If you don't have fun, you're probably not coming back.
It's not sticking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, working out sucks as it is.
For a lot of people. So, people always say this should be the best hour of your day. Well, for the majority of people, killing yourself in a workout is not the best hour of your day. It's just not. It's a corny saying, but I feel like it's the most important hour of your day, because that 100%. Workout sets you up for the rest of the day, the week, the month.
Yeah.
If you hit 4 workouts a week, those 4 hours are going to just progress you a little bit further every week down the road. So it won't be the best hour of your day, and I'll preach that to the end, but it'll be the most important, I would venture to say.
Yeah, I agree. That's solid.
I love those best hour of your days. I'm like, I hate working out. I freaking hate it. So it's never the best hour of my day.
Yeah.
Like picking my kids up from school, when I get home with my wife and the kids, that's the best hour of my day, because we're all together having fun, playing in the yard. Those are the best hours. Coming in here sweating and killing myself in a workout is never that.
Yeah.
But I know it's important. It has to happen for me to be able to go home and play with my kids.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Hang out with my wife and do things that I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, like where you work out at 6 a.m, and I know you do too.
It's been a recent change. I have no option.
If you can force yourself to get up and do something that sucks that bad first thing, then the rest of the day, no matter how terrible with work or whatever, seems to be a little bit easier than what it would be if you didn't get up and work out.
Well, it's just like conquering that one task. Like I started doing this sounds stupid, but literally 10-second cold showers in the morning. And I mean, I started off just kind of cold, because I'm type dude, I'm all the way hot, skin is scorching red, but I'll turn on cold as it'll go and just sit there and just embrace the suck for about 10 seconds. And then my day is good.
So we're really working on right now. I really want some cold plunge tubs.
Yeah.
We're working on getting some, and kind of how that would look like in the model, where to put them here. I don't know how it's all going to work. That's the biggest thing is how do you use that in the everyday person's life and make it effective? There's a lot of question marks to answer, but I swear mentally, that mental focus, and my good friend Tyler, the owner of TrvFit CEO, he really talks about this side of it, the mental focus that you can obtain from doing things, like you said, that suck. That cold plunge is not fun for anybody, but doing it and getting over those hurdles, how much it can affect and help your daily life. Like, I want that here. I just don't know how to do it yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's something that, I think that's awesome. And like you said, the logistics is what's going to be the hard part.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out how to, keep everything sanitized and all that kind of stuff. I mean, You think,
oh, just buy a tub and put it in, like buy even a cold plunge tub, but there's still so many more questions outside of that as the owner. But it's going to happen. Like, I think
that's awesome.
I really want sauna, cold plunge, the whole package, go back and forth. And
so, and y'all have the space for it too.
Yeah, we'll get you all involved when we're ready.
Oh,
get you some cold plunges.
Oh gosh, have you done one before?
No, I haven't. I've done the cold shower, but I know it's
and
a different animal.
I had my grandpa had a oil what was a barrel, I guess, and I just threw a bunch of ice in it and just hopped in that thing for I think it was 2 minutes. It was awful, but it's one of those things where seriously, I felt fresher once I warmed up. Obviously, it wasn't just involuntary muscle spasms, enjoy the show type thing.
You can do that. Think about the hurdles it takes in your mind to be able to jump in there.
100%.
I mean, everything else in the day is easy.
Well, and then too, I know whenever, talking about that, I had to concentrate on what I was doing. So anything renovating the house or, whatever, all those other things, just the volume gets turned down and I'm focused on one single task.
Mental strength, breathing exercises. Yeah. There's so much that comes into play with cold plunge that I think it'll affect your daily life if you do it just once a week.
Yeah.
That's where I think it would help. It would be neat to have.
Yeah.
Now, I have an unfair advantage. I can't feel 2/3 of my body. So, I'll get in there and not feel a thing until it hits my shoulders.
Just chilling.
But, I want to try it.
I think that's awesome.
So last question for you. Yeah. Where do you see and where do you want TrvFit to be in the next 5 years?
We want our own location. So we lease this space, eventually want our own location, set up the gym a little bit differently that I've learned now that I've had it, and grow, obviously. We want to grow, touch more lives, help more people. That's the overall goal. We're never going to be 1,000-person gym. We're never going to be a Planet Fitness. We want to grow to a level that, we're helping as many people as we can effectively.
Right.
So own building, set up things a little bit differently, and change as many lives as we can.
Absolutely.
I like it.
That's the idea.
Well, good deal, man. Well, I mean, I've listened to several podcasts. We're still new to this. Where can people find you?
So we're on Instagram, Facebook, Google, all that stuff. We're right here in Johnson City. So anybody local that's looking for a place and you don't know if you'll feel accepted in other areas, just come at least try us out. We'll give you a week free, try a few classes.
Okay.
See if it's for you. We're not for everybody. I'll say it up front. But I feel like we can help a lot of people that we're not yet doing.
Yeah. Well, and then we have our office inside TrvFit. So anybody that follows us, obviously reach out to us and we can get y'all hooked up.
Sounds
good deal.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time. Appreciate it.